The bachelor's degree has long been considered a benchmark for success in life and an effective preparation for the workforce. Charles Murray says the bachelor's degree for most students doesn't represent real education. He explores what's wrong with the BA and what could replace it at a Cato Policy Forum for the book Real Education. This is a segment of a longer event available at cato.org.
The educational system in the United States is living a lie. It is living a lie in the sense that it tries to pretend that all kids can pretty much be anything they want to be if only the schools do their job. Now, nobody really truly believes that. If you push people to the wall, and particularly if you get them to talk about their own children, I think they will readily acknowledge that, well, to be a theoretical physicist requires intellectual capabilities that are not necessarily within everyone's grasp. And if you push them harder than that, I think they will acknowledge the ways in which children really do differ in their profiles of abilities. But we operate the schools as if it were true that all children can do just about anything if the schools do their job. And if you doubt that, try to think of the last time that you saw a newspaper article or a television feature about No Child Left Behind, which used the low intellectual ability of some children as a reason why kids don't pass the proficiency standard that they set. I doubt if you can think of a single example, because that sort of thing is just not said. The problem is that this does a disservice to everybody, because the abilities that children bring, first, are of a varied set. So you have not just the kind of ability that lets you pass a proficiency examination in mathematics for No Child Left Behind. You have verbal abilities. You have all of Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences. They really are different kinds of abilities that should be tapped when you're doing a proper educational system, and they will be different for different kinds of kids. The four simple truths, which are part of the subtitle of the book, go as follows. The first is that ability varies. I said they were simple. The second one is half of the children are below average. That one also is really, really simple. And I have gotten lots of interesting observations about that statement, by the way, where people have first gotten mad at me for saying it until it finally sinks in. That the third simple truth is too many people are going to college, and the fourth is that the future of the nation depends on how we educate the academically gifted. Because we have Mr. Nelson here, I'm going to spend most of my time on the last two, because I'm delighted that he's going to be commenting on the book. There are lots of things that we can discuss, I think, both in agreement and disagreement, and I want to focus on those. The basic message of the first two involve elementary and secondary education, and they are a plea, in large part, to stop first trying to push everybody onto an academic track, which I think is a very big mistake. Second, stop ignoring the fact that kids do have limits, and instead don't give up on kids, but simply shape the education they get with that in mind. But let me turn to too many people are going to college, and the future of the nation depends on how we educate the academically gifted. I am not against post-secondary education. On the contrary, I think just about everybody needs post-secondary education. The idea that it needs to consist of 4 years of residence at a brick-and-mortar institution seems to me to be foolish on a number of levels. My gripe is not with a college education. My gripe is with the piece of paper called a BA and the role that this has taken on in American life. Let us count the ways. First, 4 years. Very few vocational specialties require 4 years of coursework, and that includes brain surgery. That includes being an attorney. To become competent in any profession requires more than 4 years, or often requires more than 4 years, but it's not coursework that's doing it. And an awful lot of kids want out of college to learn how to make a living at something they have an interest in. We will come back to the issue of the liberal education in a moment, but I want simply to put that out front. You have a whole lot of 18-year-olds who are very reasonably concerned about making a living that is a good living and reasonably want to find out how to do something that they enjoy, and that the idea that they must acquire the BA in the process of doing this is wrong. It's fine for the upper middle class, people who have enough money and time to do this. Lots of kids don't. Let me also add into this indictment another problem. Because we have made the BA the emblem of educational success in this country, we automatically are saying that most young people cannot achieve this desired goal. And this gets to the issue of the intellectual demands of genuine college-level material. Now, we've got two separate issues we've got going on here. We've got young people who can handle the demands of college-level material, but shouldn't be required to spend 4 years at a residential college to do it. We also have the large number who can't handle traditional college-level material, and let me be more explicit about that. The College Board did a study recently in which it tried to estimate what SAT score is associated with college readiness. And they defined college readiness as a 2.7 grade average during the freshman year. They had a sample of 41 colleges in their study, which ranged from solid state universities, but not spectacular ones, up through the most elite colleges. So we are talking about colleges that are the real thing in terms of today's universities. And the requirement of the benchmark SAT score that's associated with the 65% probability of having a 2.7 grade average, this is not a very severe requirement. The SAT score required for that was one that only about 10% of 18-year-olds would get if all 18-year-olds took the SAT, 10%. Now, since you've got 28% of all adults who have BAs, obviously you can get through to a BA without being in that top 10%, but that is the threshold for dealing with that material. In the book, I try to make that point for readers who I think may have forgotten what a real college is like. And I do that by putting down paragraphs from page 400, I just chose that page arbitrarily, of a number of standard textbooks. And just putting them there on the book sort of lets you know what? You have to have really good verbal skills to be able to comprehend the texts that you have to read to do a real college education. So you have a whole lot of people who are told from birth that you aren't a success in life unless you get a BA, and there is no way on God's green earth that a whole lot of those kids can get a genuine BA in a genuine subject at a genuine university. And so you have all kinds of changes in the way we define an undergraduate education to try to get around that, to expand the pool of people who get it. And we go through all of these hoops that are not necessary in order for these kids to learn what they want to learn to get an education. Another problem I have with the BA and with regard to its current use is it no longer means anything if it's not in a subject like engineering or biochemistry. You can be fairly confident if somebody has a BA or BS actually in engineering, they know a fair amount of engineering. Tell me what it means if you're an employer and you want to have people come in at entry-level positions as white-collar workers, and the applicant tells you that she has a BA in sociology. You don't know anything, except that she has a certain degree of perseverance and a certain degree of intelligence. You know nothing about anything that she brings to the job that makes her a good employee. And yet what are you doing? You are requiring the BA as a minimum requirement for getting your foot in the door in the job interview, when the piece of paper itself tells you nothing.
Charles Murray is author of the book Real Education. You can watch the full event at cato.org.